final Zelda Tears of the Kingdom, last big push, I should say, because they'll probably do something else when the game comes out. You know, hey, it's out now, a minute-long trailer. So this was basically the Zelda trailer from the end of that Nintendo event that showcased the Switch for the first, really showcased it, and they ended it with Breath of the Wild. This was basically that, nearly 4 minutes long. A lot of stuff. How long are these analysis videos? Got to be hours long, because there was cut stuff is just constantly thrown at you.
Zeltic had
gameplay.
a really good one. It was fantastic. His was about an hour and it was very good. So.
Wow, yeah, you're probably pausing every second for that. Jeez, but it's exploded online. Is #1 trending. It might still be #1 trending. It's been like that for I think 48 hours or something. Easily got 6 million views in no time.
6 million plus views.
He was pretty excited about this game. What did everyone think of the trailer though?
It was all right.
It was all right. Sean had to censor his title. He had like the look and everything in that thumbnail.
Good on trending as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, he has one of my favorite reactions because it's like, you know, people are gonna assume that I'm gonna cry. I didn't. It didn't fall. It doesn't count. There's like HMK and Roger, like you expect like our genuine like hype men because they're really like that in person. But then Sean over here is like, I guess I'll like get in on this bag too. I'm a normal reactor, like I'm gonna be normal. And then halfway through, he's like, holy shit! He's like, sorry. And he's just like, oh, I'm trying.
No, I said fuck.
Over.
I tried not to say fuck too much in my videos.
Yeah, it was fun. It was hilarious, but like
Sean reacts to the Knicks the way that
it was
they would react to the Zelda trailer. So Sean has no reason to talk. No room to talk.
It was so good, dude. One of my favorites.
The trailer was really good. And it definitely had that moment halfway through where they kind of remixed the original theme into it with all the shots that were happening with the action, the build up, and right to the end. That was well done, well put together. I will give them that.
If you take the editing and the pacing between the 2017 trailer and this one, they're almost like side by side. Like they pretty much were just like, hey, this formula worked, we're gonna do this again, and then up the ante a little bit because now we're actually gonna be able to show Ganondorf or Demise or whatever we want you to think, plus these new characters, or maybe
that furry dragon lady.
Yeah, you know.
Like, who is that?
I don't know. I'm not sure.
But there was one thing missing from the trailer that no one's talking about. That's what I'm saying. No one is bringing up the fact there was a lack of doors in the trailer. That's the only thing holding it back from being greatness.
I know it.
But aside from that, this is the best video game trailer I think I've seen in maybe the last decade. Like, I can't think of anything else that has been that, like the pacing, the editing, the excitement. If we thought we knew anything about this game last time we saw a brief, bit of like explaining what's happening in the game, we know nothing. This game looks ridiculous. It looks like they've changed up so many things. I don't know. That was such a good trailer. I'm excited, and I think everyone collectively just like sat around that whole hour after it dropped and was just like, I just need to like go for a walk or something. That was
decompress. The decompression after
it was a lot. Yeah. It was really good. It was great. It was fantastic.
I knew it was good because Jordan actually said something on Twitter. I'm like, oh shit, Jordan's talking about video games.
You tweeting about a video game? Ooh, something happened.
Yeah, I know.
So big deal though. The Ganondorf's in this one. Big deal. Obviously, it's the people are mentioning it. And I thought about like, wow, it really has been that long. Twilight Princess, the last time that the three main characters, Zelda, Link, Ganondorf, all in the same game together. That it is weird when they tell you it's 17 years ago and you're like, wow, it really was that long ago for Twilight Princess.
I feel like they have bridged the gap kind of decently in a way though between Hyrule Warriors and Smash Brothers. So like we have seen the reoccurring characters, and obviously like Hyrule Warriors, there's tons of content and there's been 2 of them since. So like I get it, it kind of like helps us forget. But yeah, when you do actually think of the last mainline title where you really like you see them all together as a canon storyline, it's insane because like I still remember where I was beating Twilight Princess, and I can't believe it's been 17 years since then. So man, Ganondorf looks amazing as well. Can we talk about that?
I like the idea of bringing in this big bad, this antagonist right away, and just like they go right into the game showing you that you're not going to have like. I'm replaying Breath of the Wild now, and I'm actually almost done. I just finished Last Divine Beast, and I'm getting stuff together for the Master Sword and all of this. But the entire time they just talk about this ominous cloud over there, basically that's Ganon floating around, and it doesn't feel that threatening. at all the whole time. I'm just kind of wandering around and you just run into enemies that way. But this looks like right off the bat, you're basically Link's going to get slapped by Ganondorf because it shows his arm getting all chewed up by that stuff. And I guess the Master Sword does too. And he just looks like a very threatening presence right away. So I like that a lot. I like that direction a lot. It feels way darker too, the way they were showing the trailer in terms of its tone. I guess even more violent, you could say, because Link, they show his arms like all charred up and everything. So it's looking good. I like what I'm seeing here with they have like the big mechanized, I don't know, you build something and it's like going against the big enemy. And it's like two kaiju like monsters fighting each other you built out of stone and stuff. So I like what I'm seeing. MEG, what do you think about this trailer?
Loved it. I think the last time we talked about this game was when we saw the previous trailer. And remember, I said I had some, not concerns, but I was a little hesitant about this time around because I felt like maybe it's just going to be more of the same. I'm going to not be as invested in this world as much because the first game had such a sense of wonder and exploration because it was the first time we had seen it. But this trailer really kind of just reaffirmed how excited I am to play this game. So I think it was massively edited, and whoever did the editing deserves a pay rise because they did an amazing job on this one. And I think the game is looking good, and I can't wait to play it. I think it's gonna score high, and like I said previously, it'll be in the Game of the Year conversation without a doubt. So I'm looking forward to it.
Josie, what do you got over there?
I'm super excited as well. I thought, again, like everyone said, the trailer was awesome. I didn't catch most of the stuff on the first time, like watching it, because it was just so fast. And then when I went back through it, it was like crazy. I was like, oh my God, Ganon's in here. And I thought it was Demise originally with the hair and stuff. So I got kind of hyped as well. And I'm just excited to see where they take the story and everything else. But I think this was exactly what we needed, because last time we talked about how it's probably not enough, or I said that it wasn't enough probably to just have that gameplay presentation, that they got to get people hyped in some other way. And I think this trailer absolutely did it. So I'm very excited.
Yeah, you can see like the sales charts. This thing is like at the top of all of them, and everyone's really hyped for this game. So it definitely did its job with that trailer. A lot of exposure for a game that people already, a lot of pent up anticipation for it. OJ, what do you think over there when you're looking at this? You live streamed it, didn't you?
Yeah, I live streamed just before, and after, and yeah, it was cool. Everyone was really excited. There was like thousands of people watching it there with me just for a 3-minute trailer. So, but I knew that it was gonna be something special because Nintendo, they announced a live stream for a trailer. So we knew that. I mean, I went into it knowing that knowing like, okay, it's probably gonna be something substantial like we got in 2017. So yeah, it was really good. I liked the trailer. I like the pacing of it was dope. Like kind of echo what everybody else is saying here. It looks fun. I thought, maybe that's, Demise, but then it's okay. Maybe it's just the Malice, So what I liked about it though, like some of like the systems built around the game, like it looks like you're gonna have like turf wars or something, like with like you can recruit different types of the races of Hyrule and like fight. So that looks pretty cool. And then they also showed off, because some people were complaining like, oh well, it was like, I don't want to just like fuse together rocks and stones, but like people don't think sometimes. It's like, no, you're gonna be able to fuse together really cool weapons, because like you're gonna be able to get like a bunch of cool weapons. So it was dope to see actual advanced weapons, like the great sword and like a shield. And I think what he put like a shield and a rocket, like a Zonai rocket together, and he like blasted off. Like, so stuff like that just shows the creativity. That's what I really thought was cool. And it was, I knew that stuff would be in there, but it's cool to actually like see it being applied. And then they made like some ghetto, what was it, like a tank or something like that, or like a mech.
Did anyone
stone mech? That was cool too.
Did anyone, with all these analysis videos, did anyone like figure out if we are going to shrines to try to upgrade stamina and health, or is there some other thing that they've spotted in any of the HUD or anything?
I think it's like challenges. It looked like in the air, like when he's kind of like doing those like anti-gravity steps. It looks like there's like obstacle courses or something like that, or when he's Mission Impossible and like maybe stuff like that could be in relation to like challenge shrine.
I wouldn't mind, Jordan, now you're saying that. I wouldn't mind if instead of going to a shrine and then basically being taken to a room somewhere, that it basically teleporting you to a very controlled area, if you did all of your puzzles or challenges just in the world, like there's no loading screen transfer over here to this room that we've set up very carefully that you can't climb because we have to take that away from you to make it more interesting. If they just have it out in the world, and you can have different ways to complete it just from the environment itself with Ultra Hand and stuff. So that would actually be kind of cool. I don't know. That's the part I'm curious about. Dungeons
I'm
versus
thinking.
shrines versus divine beasts. Go ahead, Josie.
I'm thinking it makes the most sense to have the shrines as sort of just overworld obstacles, and if you get through it, then you get some cool reward. Because we can even see him like dropping on this big sphere, and like that. I think that there's not going to be a loading screen there to take you into that to have a separate shrine. So I feel like it would make sense to have more things in the overworld, and then plus that could give us some opportunity to differentiate those from actual dungeons, I think.
Also, the website updated, and it looks like they're going to have kind of a Great Plateau area, but it's going to be a sky island that you start on, and then you work to gain your abilities, and then I assume you're just going to swan dive off of it onto the ground. So that'll be kind of cool. That'll be like the big moment when you jump off the side.
I ripped that off Warzone though.
Got off War. I mean, we looked at it immediately and we're like, that's Fortnite or Warzone. This is what you do when both of those, you just dive off the side. And Link even does the straight up, like where I just put my head right to the ground, kind of.
Didn't Link did that in Skyward Sword though? Before all that,
He did.
If you jumped off a certain bridge in Ocarina, he did it as well.
Yeah, like hold up here. They didn't create skydiving, or was it?
Hey, but they have the parachute. What's Link have now? The glider. Yeah. But it's Shaw, what do you got on here? You were the one who was a little skeptical.
Yeah, no, I was totally skeptical, but no, they did a really good job with it, and I think it's time. Like I said in today's video, if you haven't watched it yet, I think it's time to accept that video game marketing has really changed. You know, yes, you have outliers like Final Fantasy 16, which we're going to talk about later, where it feels like you've seen so much of it, games like Deathloop as well, but a lot of the bigger titles, because God of War Ragnarok was pretty similar to this as well. You had so many people like, oh, it just looks like, you know, that's the same game, and then like about a month before the release, you got a trailer for the game, and it was like, whoa, okay, wait a minute, you know, this is very different. And like that's what this moment was. You know, it was the same sort of moment where it's like, okay, there are a lot of very different things. Do I think it'll have the same sort of wow factor that Breath of the Wild did the first time you played it? I think that's a very high mark to hit, but I think what I saw in that gave it a better chance to, you know, be at least sort of up there with that sort of wow factor.
Okay.
I think the factor that's going to separate it from Breath of the Wild is going to be probably a little bit more of a beefier story. And that's going to be kind of how a lot of people love Breath of the Wild. It kind of just let you do whatever you wanted, whenever you wanted, or to just not do anything at all and go straight for the boss. Like I remember in their presentation, that's what they told us. Like, we want you to be able to just go straight to the boss if you want with a stick. Good luck. And I feel like this way, maybe it's kind of like that, but I feel like the story is, I personally hope it's not so much of like a flashback kind of scenario again. And I said too in my video is I really hope it's kind of like that Skyward Sword setup where Link and Zelda are off at the exact same time doing their own things, but instead of us getting Zelda's side in the credits, spoilers, it's you're actually like seeing her half happen hand in hand with Link's. And I think that that's going to be so cool because it'll give the other characters that we're going to be experiencing kind of a little bit more weight. So when Link meets them, we kind of probably already have like a premise. I think the other thing too, though, is I love Matthew Mercer as a voice actor, and him being the voice of Ganondorf, I feel like is such a good choice because he's just so talented. Even if he's given like the smallest role, like he's in so many video games. If people haven't really paid attention to kind of his, it's not a filmography. What do they call him for voice actors? But I think it's just incredibly exciting. And the other thing I will say, because I know we have to move on, is I love the fact that Breath of the Wild is a game that still to this day is constantly being challenged and broken and experimented with. I mean, we even have people doing, you know, like the multiplayer and mods and stuff, which I know Nintendo does not like, but that's besides the point. Is I love the fact that from what everybody's been telling me, I haven't got to see the gameplay yet, but I've been seeing videos on TikTok of people being like, how the fact of their new mechanics are kind of like a love letter to the people who were experimenting with Breath of the Wild, and instead of discouraging them from trying to rise to the skybox or get to a divine beast earlier than they should have, they're actually giving them like mechanics, if anything, to kind of encourage them to continue experimenting and breaking the game. And I think that that is the coolest thing, because I didn't know how we would be able to top the interactive world that Breath of the Wild had. And the more we see for Tears of the Kingdom, and the more this recent trailer has showed off, I think it's going to be amazing to see what people come up with, because I could just see them playing this for decades.
Oh, there's gonna be some crazy videos on Twitter.
Yeah.
Like a weekend, people will be busting this game wide open.
Yeah.
But the story part is interesting because a lot of times when you have a world that's just completely open, I feel like it's harder to figure out how you'll tell the story in order, because someone can go to this divine beast first, one other person goes off to the other side of the map and tackles a different one first. So it felt very separate though for each one, and they didn't really reference the other in those flash. As you're mentioning, it's like you kind of show up and they see that you've outfitted yourself with the other. You feel like they react a bit differently, but they don't.
Yo, John, and we actually figured out, because I know we talked about it last week, why it's called Tears of the Kingdom. Now we have our answer.
Mm-hmm.
Bam, downstairs.
Yeah.
They're telling the truth. They said they didn't want to ruin the story. Holy smokes. Those tears, and gives the champions their power. I mean, it is a big part of the game. So there you go. We figured that out. That was cool.
There you go. Yeah. We're less than a month away. So it's gonna be interesting. Hey, you know what? Less than 3 weeks away probably from it leaking. So there you go.
No.
Oh, this game's oh, come on. Somebody's gonna do some crazy
the first day someone sees it in a warehouse, it's on the street.
Oh, that thing is gone.
Don't be that guy.
It's gonna be leaked. It's
I'm
gonna
just
be
preparing
leaked.
people now. That thing's out probably a week before,
Soon.
and it's gonna
Soon.
be crazy online. I'm just telling you now.
I'm getting my mute list ready.
Nah,
Yo,
somebody
you should get it. You should do it now.
Yeah, well, when I say get it ready, yeah, but also at the same time, I love still seeing reactions being posted on my timeline. So
Just be careful. I'm telling you, people are about ready. They're about ready to spoil the hell out of this.
Yeah,
game.
people get enjoyment out of that, and this is definitely a game that people will get incredible amounts of enjoyment for spoiling, because it's that game.
did the art book leak? Is that a real thing?
Yeah, that's.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I
Yeah.
saw some of it.
Because
And that's why I was trying to tell people, no, there's a ton of stuff in this game. People are like, no, you're just fanboy. I'm like, no, there's actually a ton of new stuff in this game. But I didn't want to. Obviously, that they're going after that guy that leaked that art book, and I'm not going to sit there and talk about. I'm not going to get talk about that and get in trouble. You know what I'm saying? Or get my video claimed or stricken or whatever. So I didn't want to mention things. But that art book showed up. We saw the wingsuit. It was in the art book. It was there. We saw. Yeah, there was a lot of stuff that was in the art book. The leaks. The whole thing leaked.
The whole thing.
It's
the whole art
200
book.
pages or something.
I'm
It was some
so
crazy
glad.
amount of pages.
Yeah, I didn't look at everything though. I just looked at some stuff. So then that made me more confident that this game was going to be, because people were saying, no, OJ, I don't think so. I saw people's videos saying people having doubts. I'm like, okay, well, let me just see if it is, because I felt pretty confident about it. And then when I saw the art book, I'm like, I was 100%. When I saw I just saw a few different pages. I'm like, okay, there's a lot of new characters. There's a lot of dynamic stuff in this game.
It's been 5 years since the last one. Why do people think that there's going to be 2 new things? Why is this a discussion? Are we just that used to mediocrity that we assume that of something that's taken
just people
5
are
years?
skeptical. I mean, people are skeptical. I mean, because some people say because Nintendo didn't show us, they want
That's the
them to show them
point.
more. But yeah, that's the point. I mean, it's an interesting dynamic. We saw that Sean talked about with God of War or whatever. I personally don't want them to.
The same exact thing did kind of happen with God of War. People
said that it was
DLC, and then it comes out and
DLC.
there's a lot in that game. So
Yeah,
I mean, otherwise, what are you going to
Horizon got kind of the same treatment too. Now I think about it. Basically, any sequel nowadays.
I did Ragnarok, remember?
Yeah, Ragnarok. Yeah, that's the same. Yep.
Yeah.
So
Ragnarok, people were saying, and I said that was stupid. I'm like, that's dumb. They're not going to be working on this game for 5 years and not have anything new. That doesn't make any sense.
What's the alternative? Is you want to hear about a game for 5 years, and by the time it comes out, you're sick.
We're gonna get to that with Final Fantasy 16.
Some people do.
We could talk about Final Fantasy 16 or even Death Stranding. Death Stranding, we saw trailers at big events for 3 years straight. It only made people more confused, and then people were sick of the game, or they had preconceived notions. And then when the game came out, people were all up in arms about it.
Deathloop was probably the
Spider-Man
Deathloop was
2.
the worst, and that wasn't even 3 years. That was a year straight. That was expedited annoyance.
Remember when they showed Deathloop 10 times in a row?
Yeah, screw Deathloop.
Oh, Deathloop was good.
No,
like
the
Deathloop.
marketing. The
The
marketing.
they just constantly just shoving it down her throat every single time.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm excited. A couple weeks from now, we'll be playing Zelda. So exciting stuff. That'll be a fun podcast to go over.